Welcome into the Farzy Show, everybody. Brought to you by Destination Retirement at DestinationRetirement.com. My name is Mark Farzy, coming to you live from the Steven Singer Studios. How much fun is it when the other team keeps on making errors? Huh, Phillies fans? It's always pretty fun. The draft inches closer and closer and closer. The draft, ladies and gentlemen, starts tomorrow. Things get underway. To help us understand all things draft, we have a couple of guests for you today. That's right, 2 guests. That's how special you guys are. Here's what we got. We got CJ Perez, Temple University star, offensive lineman, center, guard, whatever he's going to do in the draft. He's going to have himself a good time. He thinks he's going to go with the undrafted free agency. He's got a couple of teams interested in him, including the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll hear from CJ Perez. And then to help us break it down from the coverage standpoint, Geoff Mosher, Inside the Birds, will join the show to talk all things NFL draft and what the Eagles just might do. Very competitive draft, as it is every year, but this year even more so, considering so many teams have 2 first-round picks. So it's going to be a party on draft day. But let's start it off with the Phillies because that was fun. This Rockies series all of a sudden has been fun to watch. If you've been following the Phils, they've obviously been struggling this season, but now they're just 2 games under 500. Which is fine. But last night, they go out there against the Rockies, and if you missed it the previous night, the Rockies decided, as a very giving people, to just gift the Phillies some runs. That's what they did 2 nights ago. Last night, they did the same exact thing, whether it was misjudging fly balls, whether it was throwing the ball over the first baseman's head, whether it was booting balls, whether it was, that sounds painful, whether it was a ball getting by a third baseman that he couldn't gobble up. They were making things happen for themselves last night offensively and taking advantage of the opportunities that the Rockies were giving them, and it was great to watch for the Phils. Guys like Rhys Hoskins have started to hit. Nick Castellanos has been hitting all year. Real Muto's been hitting all year. Kyle Schwarber, not so much. And this Odubel Herrera guy, never heard of him. Has come in over the last couple of games and actually hit the ball pretty well. So good for him as far as him as the ball player goes. Everything else with this Phillies team has been interesting. Zach Eflin looks like a guy that could be that third man in the rotation, if not second man in the rotation that they've been waiting for him to be. It has been pretty great to watch Zach Eflin throughout this year in the very brief amount of times we've been able to watch him so far this season. So he was dominant last night, for instance. So that was just a great thing to see for the Phils. But the guy that I am starting to get a little concerned about, and it's funny because he has the power numbers, the hitting numbers aren't there. And that might take some time. The average numbers aren't there. The on-base percentage isn't there. Is Kyle Schwarber. And I don't know what the Phillies are going to do at this point with Kyle Schwarber as far as just sit it out and wait patiently to see if he can actually turn it around in terms of getting that batting average up just a little bit. He has dropped in the order, that's for sure, considerably. So we'll see how all that goes. But the guy that I'm going to be waiting for that I think will be worth the wait is Kyle Schwarber. As the season goes on. So I'll keep my fingers crossed for that. Phillies now 8-10 on the season as things seem to be falling into place for them, at least in this Rockies series. Hey, if they're going to spot you some runs to start things out, take advantage of it and see what happens. So good to see them at least starting to win. Now, one point of controversy when it comes to the Phillies is Bryson Stott. When spring training broke, one of the things I had said was this isn't about Bryson Stott being the next Mike Schmidt. It's not even about him being the next Scott Rowland, talking about only on the field. You know, whenever I say that name, some people go, Scott Rowland. But it's not about that. It's just about giving somebody an opportunity who deserved an opportunity. Bryson Stott deserved that opportunity. And he's not some 21-year-old prospect. He's not some 18-year-old that you're, rush him through. No, he's old, 24-year-old. So 24 years old. So why not give him that opportunity? It didn't work out. Now, you might say, it's 18 games into a season and all of a sudden it didn't work out. Yeah, it might seem quick. But when you got Alec Boehm actually hitting the cover off the ball, you got Camargo playing well. You have Didi Gregorius is playing well. Where are you gonna put him? The guy's got to play every day. You can't just have him up here and be like, maybe you'll DH today, maybe you'll play today. Like that, you can't do that. And he started to look very much outmatched in his at-bats. So this wasn't about him coming up and lighting the world on fire and being incredible. That would be nice. Sure, I'll take that. But this is more so about making sure that his development continues. I didn't have as big a problem as some people did with Bryson Stott being sent down. When the Phillies broke camp, that's what I said was at the time that I don't want anyone saying, "Oh, you thought Stott was going to be this great player." And I'm not talking about just me personally. I'm talking about a lot of people that wanted Bryson Stott up at the major league level. They gave him a shot, didn't work out so well. Now he's going to go down and still hone his skills in the minors. He'll be back. Let's put it that way. I have a lot of confidence that Bryson Stott will be back at the major league level in the not too distant future. Let's put it that way. Speaking of the not too distant future, to transition away from baseball and go into basketball for a second, very brief moment here. Jay Wright, former Villanova head coach Jay Wright, was on ESPN radio yesterday, and they asked him about the NBA. And I only say this because I am not a Villanova basketball fan. I think they have a very nice program. They have a great program. I'll say they have a great program. I got all the respect in the world for what Jay Wright built. Good for him. This is coming from a Temple guy. But when I said Jay Wright's going to coach in the NBA someday, no, the Villanova, why would he want to coach a bunch of babies, overpaid babies? Well, because he would be overpaid. That's why. Not that I think Jay Wright ever going to be overpaid. He's great and all that. But you get what I'm saying. Because he would make a huge chunk of change. And the competitor in him, as he said yesterday on ESPN radio, the competitor in him, there's always been that thought. There's always been that wonder coaching at the highest level. He didn't say, no, not for me. I'm not doing it. He said, right now. He said, right now. That's not for me. Right now, at this time I do this interview, but I hang up the phone. All of a sudden I pick the phone back up. Oh, hello, Lakers? No, not saying that's the case, just as an example. There's going to be interest in Jay Wright. I think take a couple of years off, enjoy the family, live the life. Then NBA. Not immediate. But the NBA. Jay has no interest in being in the NBA. Jay's got some interest in being in the NBA. So there we go. I'm done puffing out my chest. That's it. That's all I got for you as far as Jay Wright goes. As much as I'd love to say that with each passing minute, I get more confident that the Sixers are going to win Game 6. I would love to say that and mean it, but I can't. Because the Raptors have dominated the Sixers. They dominated them in Game 5. They dominated them throughout the regular season. And if Joel Embiid is a one-hand man, I'm not feeling too good about Game 6 in Toronto. And I thought, all right, just shake off the emotion. Shake off the emotion of a horrible loss. Forget the idea, and it's been talked about a lot now, that if Joel Embiid absolutely doesn't go off the way he did in Game 3, you're talking about being down 3-2, and we touched on that yesterday. But if you're at this position, if you're at this spot right now with the Sixers against the Raptors, if you're in this spot, I don't see the Sixers getting any better. Like, I don't see Joel Embiid's hand improving. I don't see his play improving. I don't see James Harden's shot improving. I don't see James Harden getting healthier and more knowledgeable about the guys he plays with. I would love to say that I could see Tyrese Maxey carrying this team, and that's all. I think that's actually what's going to happen if they have a chance to win. But I don't think he can put the whole team on his shoulders. I'd love for Tobias Harris to do that. These are all guys that we look at to step up. The bench, oh my God, what George Niang come off the bench, hit 5 threes at least. You know what I mean? I just don't see all that coming together in Game 6, and I don't see it coming together in Toronto with the officiating crew north of the border. I just don't see it happening. As much as I'd love to see it, I think there's going to be a Game 7, and I think while we're following the draft on Thursday, we're going to be bouncing back and forth between what's going on in the draft and what's going on in the 76ers game. It's going to be an insane Thursday night, and I wish I had a better feeling about it. I feel better about Howie Roseman Thursday night than I do about the 76ers Thursday night. And that's the thought that dawned on me as I was thinking about both these things taking place Thursday. I was like, wow, I actually feel better about Howie Roseman having a better Thursday night than the 76ers. Okay. That's where I'm at in life right now. And I want good vibes, baby. I want nothing but good vibes going into Thursday. I want people saying positive things about Howie. I want to will it into the atmosphere that they're going to have a good night. I'd love to do that with the Sixers. I just don't think it's as possible. And that's the realization I had going into last night, or excuse me, coming into the show today, that, wow, when it comes to Thursday night, I feel better about what the Eagles are going to do than what the Sixers are going to do. Just being real. Let me tell you about the great people at Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. We got two guests for you today, so I want to make sure we get those guys in. Destination Retirement, my man Mike Seibert, retirement income certified professional at Destination Retirement LLC, a partner at 1847 Financial and an advisor for Eagles, Sixers, and Phillies fans only. Maybe next year the Flyers. When it comes to long-term savings, why are you giving up current enjoyment of your income? The answer is to have income streams in retirement. It only makes sense then to understand how retirement income streams work so that you can direct savings in ways that give you the highest income when you retire. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Is the objective to get to the top, or is the objective to get to the top of the mountain and then safely back down the mountain? Going up the mountain is the accumulation phase. Going back down the mountain is the distribution phase. These are the two different phases of your financial life, and each should be addressed separately. This month, let's talk about college planning. We all know that college is expensive. Have you ever thought about how it will affect your retirement? Let Mike Seibert at Destination Retirement show you an efficient way to help pay for your kids' college and still retire on your own terms. First step, avoid starting growth cycle over by depleting accounts like 529s for big expenses like college. You don't want to lose your position on your growth cycle and have to start over. You can't get that time back. Instead, set yourself up with the ability to use vehicles that you can take money out of without starting your growth cycle over again. To find out how your annual retirement savings can help your college savings, now your college savings can help your retirement savings, contact Mike Seibert. Mike will set up your own portal and retirement analyzer, and then use the software to help navigate through the different phases of your financial life. For questions or to set up a meeting with Mike, email him at gobirds@1847financial.com. Or call his office at 1847financial.com with 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. You can also visit his website at destinationretirement.com. And as always, go Birds. And hopefully Thursday night, play that song. Let me tell you about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Mother's Day almost here. There's still time to get the best gift for mom. The amazing 24-karat gold dip rose creamsicle edition this year from Steven Singer Jewelers. It's a gift that will last a lifetime. The brand new 24-karat gold dip Steven Singer rose is creamsicle. Remember those spring days you'd be out running around with your friends, your mom bringing that creamsicle? Oh, fantastic. Mouth-watering, creamy orange color, exclusively at IHateStevenSinger.com. In this crazy world we live in, it's never been more important to tell mom just how much you love her. Give her the number one gift this Mother's Day. Picture it, a real long stem rose dipped in 24-karat gold with light peach petals, preserved and guaranteed to last a lifetime. Mother's Day is Sunday, May 8th. Give her the gift that she'll cherish forever. That's right. Steven's brand new creamsicle 24-karat gold dip rose. Go to IHateStevenSinger.com today to order. Fast and free shipping, don't forget, and it arrives in time for Mother's Day with a free personalized note and a free lifetime guarantee. Don't wait, because these things always sell out. See the entire collection of gold roses starting at $59, only available at IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, let's talk to a Temple standout. All right, a man that is a leader of men for a young man that he is. This man could go late in the draft. He thinks he's going to be signing an undrafted free agent contract in the NFL. CJ Perez, offensive lineman from the Temple Owls, joins us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. You know, obviously I'm a Temple guy, so some people say, Mark, you're a little biased to Temple guys, and I'm like, of course I am. So without further ado, let's welcome on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line, CJ Perez, NFL draft prospects, Temple offensive lineman. The man is always described as undersized, which I just consider this is false. CJ, welcome to the show, my friend.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
Absolutely. I don't know what it's like because, I mean, we grew up in this city with Jason Kelce and stuff like that, and we've always heard about Jason Kelce this, Jason Kelce that, and every single time he gets described, he's like, you know, for an undersized center, this, that, and the other. And it's like, Hall of Fame career, Super Bowl champion, Mummer's outfit at the Premier League. You just go on. The undersized thing, when people bestow that upon you, how do you shed that? Like, how do you get around that? Do you use it as motivation? What does that undersized tag mean to you?
I honestly, man, I've looked at it as a positive. Honestly, it really is. I mean, I play against so many guys that are bigger than me. Honestly, it's rare I play against a guy that is the same size as me. So I look at it as, crap, man. I mean, if you know football, you know low man wins. That's what everyone's always said. So I look at it as purely as a positive, because there's really not many guys that are able to get under me. If they are, credit to them, because they're obviously a really good player. But I'll be honest, man, it's motivated me. I look at it as a positive, and it's really only helped me. When people talk about if someone's too short, they more refer to, like their arm length or stuff like that. But in regards to height, I think it's only helped me.
Yeah, you're what, 6'2", 6'1", 6'2"?
Yep, around that. Yep.
That does not seem wildly undersized to me. Maybe that's because we've been living with Jason Kelce here in Philadelphia for as long as we have. So you're originally from Kansas, and you come up here to the Philadelphia area to play Temple University football. How much did you look to a guy like Jason Kelce for pointers, getting that up close and personal view, being here in the city?
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, even before moving to Philly, I've always admired Jason and his playing style, and just the type of guy that he is. Obviously, in some regards he's a symbol of Philadelphia, and just what Philadelphia means, just blue collared, and so I appreciate that he speaks when he needs to speak. He doesn't look for cameras. He doesn't go after interviews, or he's not big on social media, but he does it with his play. And if something needs to be said, he's going to say it, and he's not afraid to say it. But he plays nasty. He plays hard, man. He plays really, really hard. And that's just something that I definitely try to model my game after.
It's funny, and the cameras look for him is often how it ends up working.
For sure.
But I'm so glad you said that, because that's him on the field, and that's kind of your motivation, obviously, on the field as well, to overcome that undersized thing, and you certainly use it as motivation, as gas in the tank, so to speak. But I'm so glad you brought up the idea of, if something needs to be said, he'll say it. Because one of the things I've learned about you over the years, at the time you were at Temple, was that you're not afraid to say something either. Like, you're a leader on the field and off the field as well. As a matter of fact, and you might know what I'm alluding to, there was a little issue with your former head coach, with some former players bad-mouthing him, and you were one of the guys to step up to defend your coach. Why?
That's a can of worms, man. Crap, we could go all day about that. But honestly, man, when it comes down to it, when it comes to people that are mouthing someone or about something, they got to be telling the truth. And if they're telling the truth, it is what it is. But if they're not telling the truth, then I can't really stand for that. And so, a lot of that is, man, a lot of those guys that were coming out and saying it were guys that, I'll be honest with you, they weren't going to play at Temple. They weren't good enough to play at Temple. And they had too big of egos, so they don't want anyone to know that. They don't want anyone to know that, yeah, they couldn't get on the field. So guess what? They're just going to say, yeah, they screwed me. Coach wouldn't play me. Coach wasn't giving me a chance. No, dude, you just weren't going to play. Simple as that. So, yeah, man, and again, the head man and all the position coach, yeah, they did a lot for me, 100%. Were they perfect? Absolutely not. There were times where I didn't want to be in the same room as the head coach, and there are times where I really appreciate him, and like I said, I'm glad he was in my corner. But when it comes to people bad mouthing him, there was stuff that people would say that was true, but I'll be honest with you, probably 90% of the stuff was completely changed around, edited, and just wasn't accurate. So in regards to that, I'm not gonna let all these people just go on Twitter or Instagram or to the media and just make up all these lies. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I wasn't going to stand for that. So I said my piece. Oh man, do I still see stuff to this day that I could just absolutely lose it on, but I've been able to try to let it go. So.
Okay. Now you're not from the area, as we mentioned earlier. What was your welcome to Philly moment? Because I know as a city, especially on North Broad Street, we could be pretty daunting. So what was your welcome to Philly moment?
My first weekend, I walked out to my car and I'm looking at my passenger side mirror and it's gone. It is just it's not existent. And I left. I think I left something in my car and I had to run out there and I walk. It was on the street side and I walk up and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I was just absolutely lost. And that was one. And then yeah, I'll be honest, man. The big one for me, parking in the median. Parking in the median was a
Oh,
huge one for me,
oh,
man.
yeah.
And it's like I'd have family come and visit, and they would be absolutely speechless of like, what are they doing? It's like, oh, they're just at work. It's like,
Oh,
they just leave it? I'm like, yeah, they just leave it. It's fine.
yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But God forbid you park in a 2-hour parking place for 2 hours and 1 minute, ticket, just like that.
Yeah. For sure.
I can't. I always try to fathom like what it's like to just come into the city unaware of it. Like I kind of remember when I was a kid because I grew up in the burbs, and I was like 9 or 10 coming down and seeing that for the first time. I'm like, there's no rules here, are there? Like it's just like they say on the news. There's no rules. So yes, we do have that daunting. What do you like to do around town? Like when you were in Philly, what did you like to do around the city?
I honestly, man, it's weird. As crazy as Center City and Broad Street could be, man. Once I kind of got used to it, man, I love going to Center City. Reading Terminal. I love going to Reading Terminal. Anytime my family came in town, man, I always went to Reading Terminal. Always went to Reading. I mean, there's just so much you can do, and restaurants downtown. Just walking around Love Park. Also, just I mean, obviously, I mean, I think my list consisted of probably 12 cheesesteak spots. So I was pretty. That was a big priority for my first summer when I got there.
Well versed. You were well versed.
Yes.
I have to ask you this because I am a sucker for barbecue. And where you hail from, my friend, it's the best. It's by far, it's the best barbecue on the planet. And I was a big fan of Gates. I was a big fan of Oklahoma Joe's. Did you have a favorite barbecue place? Do you have a favorite barbecue place back home?
You know, man, that's a real common question I get. It's always just been right there. So when people like assume that like, oh, all I eat is barbecue, it's like, no, because it's always been right there.
Right. No, I get like
my go-tos.
I have one cheesesteak a year, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, my go-tos. So Oklahoma Joe's, I don't know when this was, but for some reason it was now renamed Joe's. The reasoning, I don't know why, but it's just Joe's Barbecue.
Okay.
Joe's is for sure a go-to.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I think there's 4 or 5 within the area of me. So, I mean, it's very easy to go to. The original one, a lot of people know, the original one in a gas station that you can go to, which is really, really cool. I've been able to go to that a few times. Joe's Q39 is a really good one, too. That's the one that's, I think it's honestly, it's kind of been climbing over the last 5 to 6 years, but it's honestly it's a nice sit down restaurant, but just the quality that you're getting, fantastic. Really, really, really good.
I knew I was out of my element. I think I was at Jack Stacks, if that's a place.
Yep, Jack Stack's also a really good one. That's another like really nice sit. I mean, that's a nice down restaurant.
Well, that was the first place I ever went to where they said, "Do you want barbecue sauce?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" And they're like, "What kind?" And I was like, "What?" There's a type of. I just get the McDonald's packet and I'm good. So that's where I go with that. So that's pretty amazing. Yeah, I'm a sucker for that barbecue out there, man. Ooh, that's some good stuff. So what are you hearing right now as opposed to when it comes to your status with the NFL? Obviously, we got the draft coming up starting on Thursday. We'll go through the weekend and all that. What are you hearing about possibly being on an NFL roster in the upcoming NFL season?
Yeah, man, I've been able to talk to a few teams this week. I've heard from guy from the Ravens today. I talked to the Bears last week. Small communication with the Eagles, and then I was able to do a local workout with the Chiefs a few weeks ago, which that's been some minor conversation there, but it's just been cool, man. Just have these conversations with these guys, and and again, they're not going to sugarcoat; they're going to be straight up with you. So a lot of them really just consists of hey, is this the phone you're going to have on draft night? You got any new injuries that are going on? Is your agent still the same agent that you had at the beginning? So a lot of it, a lot of the talks I've been hearing, signing a priority free agent deal. So, that would be a great deal just to, get to training camp. We'll start with mini camp in the next 2 weeks, make a big impact. And then, obviously try to make the roster once training camp comes around.
What has it been like for you to follow NFL draft stuff, college prospects and all that stuff, and know that this stuff has an immediate impact on your life? Hell, even the free agency stuff in the NFL, offensive lineman signing wherever. What is it like for you to have that affect your life? Is that an exciting thing for you? Is that a thing that's, just anxiety ridden? Like, what is that like for you to know that that's affecting your life?
Yeah, man, I think you do your best to kind of control what it is. I mean, I've definitely had some stressful days about it, just with talks with my agent, some days where maybe, your phone's not ringing a lot. And then other days, crap, and that very next day you might get 3 or 4 calls and you're completely flipped. So I'm super thankful for guys that I've had in my circle. I got a lot of friends that are playing on Sunday right now. And guys that I met at Temple or guys that I met at my previous schools or friends that I've been able to work out with. So they've been able to give me so much good advice about, the do's and don'ts and just how to treat these next few weeks rolling into rookie minicamp coming up. So.
Oh. All right. Well, that's great, man. I want to go over some stuff with you real quick. I saw this on your Instagram, I believe it was. These are some of your draft, your workout numbers here. Bench press 26 times, which if that was at the NFL Combine, only 7 offensive linemen rep that more than you, which is pretty damn impressive. Vertical leap 32.5. Only 2 offensive linemen had a better vertical leap than your 32.5. Hey, not to brag for you, but that's pretty damn good, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. When it comes to vertical, I was just as surprised as a lot of other people too. So I could not have been more happy with the way it went, though. But I mean, yeah, dude, pro day was awesome, man. It was cool being back, and I was obviously able to meet the new staff, and it was just cool being out there with my old teammates one last time, just in the same room, working out one last time together.
All right. For the people listening to this show on the podcast, I'm just going to let you know the people watching the show are going to be subject to some nudity. Here you are, CJ, on your Instagram, working out a little bit. You got the sunglasses on. You got the tights on, the shorts, topless. I guess that's for aerodynamic causes there. Here you are getting things done, though, my friend.
Trying, man, trying. I think the less clothes you wear, the faster you feel.
And then finally, this one here, you just look like you're all business. Again, topless. These sunglasses are back in from what I did. These are, in my day, my friend, these are like classic outfielder in baseball sunglasses. Or you're just spending all day fishing. One or the other.
Yeah, 100%.
That's great, man. CJ, this has been so much fun. Would you humor Lee and play? We used to call this Fast Five, and then I found out there's somebody else calls it Fast Five, and I'm like, I get away from it. I'll go back to the branding and just call it the Farzy Five. Do you want to play the Farzy Five with us, my friend?
I'd love to.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring in the band, guys. You want to get it going here? There. Thank you very much. Here we go. All right, Farzy Five with CJ Perez, NFL prospect. Best job before football. Best job before football.
Best job before football. Volunteer football coach in my old middle school team.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty good.
Yep.
That's pretty good. Go-to fast food place.
This might be greasy, but I gotta go Arby's. Gotta go Arby's.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard they have the meats. I've heard they
do. That is true.
What do you like there at the old Arby's there?
They got a killer Reuben. Ooh. Killer Reuben, dude. I'm a sucker for Reuben. Gosh.
All right, good. Sounds good. Oh, here's this one. First date deal breaker. First date deal breaker.
I gotta have the lady has to have some class, man. So if the skirt's too short or if I'm seeing too much up top, it's obviously it's flattering, but we're in public. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Public.
Right. Yeah. I got you. You don't want too many guys ogling at the lady.
Based on what she's wearing.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite city to travel to?
This is a trick question. I hope I don't get crucified for this. It might be Chicago. I got a lot of family in Chicago. Parents from Chicago. So
I love Chicago. Chicago's a great town. Love Chi-Town. And then finally, in traffic, you seem like a swell fella, but in traffic, what makes you beep your horn?
I'm gonna credit the city of Philly for this, but and again, I think I'm pretty loose with this. Stop sign, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. If they're not going after the 3,000,
right,
I'll give them a little beat.
Wow.
And again, I learned that from stop sign. If you're not, again, people stop, like, you don't stop at stop signs in Philly. That's just like,
no.
What are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Or a red light. It's almost like I used to be honked at a red light if I wasn't anticipating it to turn green and if I didn't floor it when it did.
Yes.
Because everyone's time is more important than yours. So.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And it's funny you say that. I had a professor who was from London when I was at Temple, and he said that a stop sign in Philadelphia is a mere suggestion.
Yes.
And I said,
the amount of times one of my favorites is pulling up to the red light. If you're first in line, someone peeks up around you, looks both ways. No one's coming. I'm just gonna go. That's one of my favorites. Yeah. My personal favorite. Thanks, guys. The band, you guys are hot today. Thank you. Honestly, my personal favorite is when, like, you're at the stop sign, you've stopped, and another car comes up, sees that you've stopped, know that they could beat you through the intersection, and never stop and keep going. Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even mad. That was great anticipation on their part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
CJ Perez, wherever you end up, man, and I hope it's here in Philadelphia, but whatever you end up, I wish you nothing but success. Thanks so much for coming on the Farzy Show. Really appreciate it. And just lastly, are the Owls going to be okay next year? Is that going to be okay? That whole situation, are we going to be okay?
I think they got a good staff coming in. And so I'm not making any promises. Everyone's got to give them some grace. But I think the future does look up for them for sure.
CJ Perez says 3 bowl games in a row for the Owls. Okay. CJ, seriously, thank you so much, and best of luck to you. Thanks for joining the Farzy Show on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line.
Thanks for having me on, Mark.
That was a lot of fun. He was a lot of fun to talk to. CJ Perez of your Temple Owls right there on the show, and enjoying himself and enjoying Fast Five. Farzy 5 as well. So anyway, that was a good time, and I wish that kid nothing but success. That young man, nothing but success. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think that's the only Arby's guy we're gonna get. Chick-fil-A, Arby's. They have the meats. You know, I was watching an old episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, and Seinfeld took Seth Rogen out, and they went to lunch, and then they went to Arby's. And both Seth Rogen and Jerry Seinfeld, 2 hilariously funny men that have made a great deal of coin with their hilarity, could not help but to ask Arby's if they have the meats. To which the manager replied, "We have the meats." He said, "We actually just had a 13-year-old call and prank us with that question." So that joke is it's always good. It's always good. My thanks to CJ Perez. How about that? The Eagles knocked on the door. The Eagles showed some interest. So we could be seeing him in Midnight Green, and in the not too distant future, that Kelly Green again in Philly, which would be great. I see that his 1 point of in the chat, I see that as 1 point of the lady revealing a little too much on the first date, walking around, not his favorite thing. Arby's, though, his favorite thing. But thanks to CJ Perez for joining the show. Best of luck to him. With the NFL draft, hopefully does get drafted. Maybe he gets to decide where he wants to go. So that'll be good as well. Nothing but success to him. Let me tell you about the great people at Rothman Orthopedics. When you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, breathes orthopedics. You need a physician who specializes in Rothman Orthopedics, and that's where you come in with Rothman. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Visit them, one of their 30-plus locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. How about WinView, the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all? Who is the bigger sports fan. You have those friends and family members who think they know everything about sports. Play them in a WinView contest. See if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. You want to break the monotony of family dinners and get-togethers? Play them during a quarter of Monday Night Football, maybe during the NBA playoffs, maybe when football does come back around, maybe baseball, whatever it might be. Challenge them to a WinView contest. Win yourself some money. See if you can win some money off your friends and family. And remember, it's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who knows more? And you can make real money prizes for making predictions on the games you love so much. So download the WinView app right now. How about the great people at PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Well, coming up a little bit later, we're going to get to Geoff Mosher from Inside the Birds. He'll talk to us a little bit more about all things NFL draft and what they got going on, what the Eagles could have going on. I told you guys yesterday that as much as I don't see it happening, my official wish type of scenario, if the Eagles stay at 15, is that they actually at 15 and 18 go all defense. All defense all the time. I know it's unlikely, but the guy that I have my eye on, I think this is the more likely scenario. This is the more plausible scenario. Jordan Davis, defensive lineman out of Georgia. You can move him around a little bit, depending on how you want to use him, obviously. Is that versatile of a player? Love how he can get into the backfield. Love how he can create that push in the middle of your defensive line. Love a lot of things about him. I mean, he's one of those guys that you watched in the national championship game and you thought, just get one of these guys. Here's the list, Eagles. Basically, Georgia's defense. And just start there. So he's definitely the top of the list for me as far as that goes. And then the one that actually Mosher and I have some fun with is Devin Lloyd, the linebacker out of Utah. Linebacker? They haven't drafted a linebacker in 40 years in the first round. Yes, I'm aware. I hope they break that trend. That's what I'm eyeing up for the Eagles at 15 and 18. I know Howie can't help but to be aggressive and all that. But I believe it's a total of 7 teams. Let's see, the Giants, Jets, Saints, Chiefs, Lions, and the Eagles. And I feel like I'm missing somebody. Those teams right there have multiple first-round picks. They have at least 2 first-round picks. So it's going to be a highly competitive first round for anyone that wants to try to move up, because they're obviously going to give up one of the first to move up to a spot to try to take somebody that they really want. The Saints, one of the things Mosher gets into is the Saints could be one of those teams to try to move up and get the quarterback that they really want. The Saints pick at 16 and 19. They obviously had that trade with the Eagles also. But the name that I'm eyeing up for the Eagles right now is Jordan Davis at 15, and then we'll see where the board falls from that to 18. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles decided to go linebacker this year with how stacked this draft is with guys like that. Corner is obviously a huge need. You don't know who's going to be taking the opposite side. Zach McPherson was on this show a couple of weeks ago and talked about how he's ready. He's ready to take that step, how he is more or less Mr. Training Camp and had to block out that type of hype, try to just concentrate on being a professional. I'm hoping and rooting that guy takes that step forward. But this draft has got a couple of guys. Devin Stingley is one of them. I've had Derek Stingley is one of them out of LSU. He's one of the guys I've had my eye on for a while, and that could be a guy that the Eagles are focusing in on. But that's a guy they would have to move up in the draft to get. We'll talk to Moshe coming up in just a second about what the Eagles could be doing in this draft if they are, in fact, going to move up. I just think it's going to be far too competitive a field for the Eagles to do that in this particular draft. So we'll cross our fingers and see what comes out as far as that goes. What did I have here? I got Moshe coming up here. Let's jump into this right now with our friend Geoff Mosher. And after Moshe, we'll get your thoughts on the chat. I am not abandoning the chat check, ladies and gentlemen. We got 2 piping hot guests today, including Geoff Mosher. So without further ado, let's jump on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line once again and talk to our friend Geoff Mosher about all things NFL draft. Joining us right now, the Rothman Orthopedics guest line, our good friend from Inside the Birds podcast that he does with our other friend, Adam Kaplan. Geoff Mosher joins the show. What's up, Moshe?
What's up, man? You're 2 for 2 on Friends at Inside the Birds. Nice job.
2 for 2. Although I may have a falling out with Kaplan. I'm not sure. No. It's great to have you on. The last time we spoke, we recorded an interview, and then literally the next day when the interview aired, I went and had a kid. So I appreciate the good luck you bestowed upon me.
You work quickly.
There you go. Magic. No, man, it's great to catch up with you. I can't imagine, like, obviously on this show we cover the whole gambit, right? As they say, the whole gambit. But like when you're a football-centric show and a football-centric podcast, I can't imagine what draft week is like for you. What is it like for you?
What is draft week? It doesn't really feel like a week, right? Because it starts Thursday, so Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It's just a lot of phone calls. It's a lot of planning, but it's also kind of the culmination of really a month and a half, 4, 5, 6 weeks of like a whole lot of maybes, what could be, we get a lot of information at the combine, Mark, but then you go right into free agency. And then a lot of times I don't really even like to do a lot of draft prep until the pro days are done. And then you got the visits after that. So it's hard to get in touch with people until they've done their meetings with their teams and everything. And that's when you really get a sense. But by then it's like, oh my God, the draft is in 2 days. So you have like a lot of information that you got to parse through in a small amount of time.
Yeah, like studying for a final is kind of what I'll liken it to when I do my own crash course.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, I'm like you. I'm like you in that everything is so fluid. It's like you have to wait to, like, I hate to say it, but you have to wait to the last minute to really understand, okay, who really has a good opportunity to go to the Eagles? Who really has a good opportunity to maybe go to the Giants or the Cowboys or wherever it may be? So I'm right there with you in that this thing changes so fluidly.
And this draft especially, I mean, forget about it because, you'll talk to people from teams and they're asking you like, hey, how's this board going to shake out in the top 4? What are you hearing? And usually, because of quarterbacks, right, or franchise left tackles or franchise defensive ends, it's pretty set in stone when you're going into Thursday night. You get a pretty decent idea of the first 3 or 4 picks. But honestly, there's a lot that could happen that can change the boards radically. From basically from 1 down to 20 to wherever, there's a lot of variables.
When it comes to some of the bigger name guys in this draft, quarterback wise, Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, those guys, all those guys, how do you think they still shape out? Do you still think Pickett is the number 1 rated guy, the number 1 rated quarterback? Do you think it's changed at all as time has gone on, or have they stayed pretty much the same?
All right, so I'm of the mindset, I'm just using logic here. I think a lot of people would agree that when you're the New Orleans Saints and you trade a future first-round pick, in this case to the Eagles, that you don't do that to get yourself 2 first-round picks so that you can go take a safety, right? Mm-hmm. You do that to take a quarterback.
Sure.
So right now they have those 2 first-round picks, and I'm sort of the mindset that they did that to package them and move up to get a quarterback. For the Saints, I can see them going with Kenny Pickett. I think that they need a quarterback for the future. They can't sit around and wait. And since they already gave up next year's first rounder, they're not waiting around next year to get their quarterback.
Sure.
Now, could they take Malik Willis instead? Anything can happen, right? To me, the guys if the quarterbacks who are probably going to go in top 20 are going to be Pickett and Willis. I look at the Seahawks just because I'm not saying this because they had Russell Wilson. I don't want people to think, oh, you're typecasting or anything. The Seahawks like to run the ball. Pete Carroll has always liked to run the ball and build a strong defense. When you do that, right, you'll take a quarterback like Malik Willis, who's a quote unquote project, got more development to do because you can support him with a running game, a defense, and 2 pretty good wide receivers for that strong arm that he's got. So I can see Malik Willis being a more natural fit for the Seahawks if they're to take a quarterback. And I'm also kind of thinking that if you're the Saints, you probably have to trade up into that like 7, 8, 9 area to leapfrog Seattle just to make sure you get your guy if Kenny Pickett's your guy there.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to the Eagles, do you get any sense from them that they are eyeing a quarterback in the first round?
Oh, yeah. Howie just called me today and he said, yeah, no, I don't. I really don't. And but I'll couch this as saying that the Eagles tell you time and again with their words and their actions that they're not afraid to be bold and different when it comes to the quarterback position. So I never slammed the door on it, but I'm not sensing it. I don't feel like that's where they're going. I think they've been kind of honest, almost to a fault, about how they're building right now. Not just necessarily around Jalen Hurts, but how they're satisfied in getting two good players right now, if that's what it is. So I know some people are thinking, hey, are they going to package these 2 picks and jump right up there into the top 5, top 8, get that, whether it's a Thibodeau or a Sauce Gardner. And I don't know that they're going to be willing to do that. I mean, that's sort of then going against what I'm not saying that you rule out trade up. I'm just saying, like, this whole like swing for the fences mentality. Not sure that that's not the vibe that I'm sensing with them right now. So no, I don't see them taking a quarterback in the first round.
Okay. Yeah, I still think they'll take one later on, take the flyer on the guy, see if it works out, whatever.
Oh, shoot. They might take like 3 quarterbacks, 2, 3, and 4, and kind of try to sell you on how this is the way now you draft quarterbacks. You throw darts and draft 5 of them and hope that one is good.
I mean, stop me if you heard this before, but I think I've just coined this quarterback factory. It's catchy.
Why did I think of that one?
I literally just had not an argument. I corrected a guy on Twitter who said that Philly Special's real name was Philly, and I was like, no, Nick Foles. Like, the things we'll argue about, the little nitpick things, but whatever.
Wait, you lost me I had to correct somebody on Twitter.
Yeah, that's like I don't argue on Twitter, Jeff. I just correct people. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. It's like I don't argue with my wife. I just correct her. See how that goes. All right. Now, when it comes to Howie Roseman's philosophy and all that, it's going to be very competitive in the attempt to move up. So let's just live in a world for a second where they stay at 15 and 18 in this draft in the first round, and they take who? Who is the guy or guys in your mind are the best fits for this Eagles team, offense or defense, what have you?
All right, Mark, the major, to answer this question the best I can, right? Because again, without knowing sort of how this board's going to shake out and all the surprises, it's hard, right? But my sense and my homework tells me that we're going to look at 3 positions here in the first round: defensive line, wide receiver, cornerback. When I say D-line, pass rusher or D tackle, right? Yeah, right. Defensive line, wide receiver, quarterback. I'm sorry, cornerback. That anything other than that would sort of surprise me. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now we know the Eagles love offensive linemen and they value it. And I suppose if the board falls very oddly and all these pass rushers and all these corners and wide receivers are gone in the first 14, and like Evan Neal is there, well, of course they're going to run to the podium and take like the best left tackle or best tackle in the draft, something like that. But I really do think those 3 positions are the ones you look at. And then who's there at 15? Is Trent McDuffie there from Washington, the corner? He's a good player. Is Jordan Davis there? Obviously, the defensive lineman. That is a guy you could definitely see them taking. Jermaine Johnson, the pass rusher from Florida State. That's a guy that they've shown interest in throughout the pre-draft process. The question I would have for them is, because they allow analytics to be so heavily involved in their draft process, which is not something a lot of NFL teams do, even ones that like analytics, they try to separate it from, say, game day calling to draft. But the Eagles, we know, are into it. Some of these guys don't check off the athletic boxes, but they're really good football players. Like McDuffie, it checks off every single box. He's probably the safest outside of Sauce Gardner cornerback to take in the draft, but he's got short arms, like more short than you would like. So that's not a great thing for your outside cornerback in a league of 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" wide receivers to have short arms, right? But he's a really good football player who checks off all the boxes. So does that cause like a little, personnel versus analytics thing going on in the front? I don't know. I can't answer that question. But same thing with Jordan Davis. This is a guy who analytically is amazing. I'm sure the analytics people are like, oh my God, he runs like, look what he runs at that weight, right? Mm-hmm. That's the big red flag on him, though, is the weight has fluctuated. He was over 360 at Georgia. Then all of a sudden, combine comes around and he's like 25 pounds lighter, and he looks like a superhuman being going through athletic drills. And he didn't rush the passer at Georgia on third down. Most people I speak to, they're not as concerned with that as they are with the weight. They think he will be a game changer on the defensive line. So if he's there at 15, I have to think that the Eagles are going to think real hard about that,
Literally number one guy on my list. I'm not even kidding you.
Almost. Hey, I know last year you wanted Devontae Smith very badly.
I did. You did. Damn right I did. Absolutely.
So maybe they go double dip for you, Mark.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you one person that's already hit on some news here, and that's the report you gave a couple of weeks ago regarding Jalen Reagor. Where are we right now? Are our team still banging on the door for Jalen Reagor? What's going on there?
So just to be clear, because sometimes you report something and then it kind of gets distorted. What I reported was that there were teams that had called the Eagles to find out, hey, what's the deal with Jalen Reagor, right? Because at that time, this is a couple of weeks ago, right? There's two types of players you're going to call about right now. Guys who are first-round picks like Jalen, who maybe have struggled, need a new change of scenery. Is that team trying to unload him? Or the other guy who's been really good for 3 years, like a Deebo Samuel or a DK Metcalf, and for some reason the league notices that guy hasn't have a contract extension yet. AJ Brown, same thing, right? So then you get the phone call. So these were, as my understanding, kind of exploratory phone calls. So I don't want to make it seem like they were out there shopping Jalen Reagor or anything like that. It's not what I heard. I just heard the teams had picked up and called about Jalen Reagor. Now, Mark, if the Eagles draft a wide receiver, which we all think they're going to do, I mean, you can do the math, right? You've got a drafted wide receiver, you've got Devontae Smith, you have Quez Watkins, and they signed Zach Pascal. So that's 4 guys already. Now, if Jalen Reagor's your 5th receiver, he's not your 5th receiver. He's not on your team, right? The optics of that are terrible. The economics don't make any sense of it. And it's not good for the Eagles or for the player. So it sure seems like he's on his way out if the Eagles bring in another wide receiver.
No, I would absolutely agree with that. How sold are you on the idea? Again, it all depends on how the draft falls. Like I would be shocked almost. Like literally, I'd be shocked if the Eagles did jump at a wide receiver in the first round. Only because I would be. Because you just got Devontae Smith, you whiffed on Reagor, you took all the heat for that. You just moved another wide receiver to tight end because that was a bad draft selection as well. Like I feel like it's almost Devontae Smith. All right, let's quit while we're ahead now. One in a row. Like that's kind of how I feel Howie Roseman might approach it for this particular draft. But hey, man, you do a hell of a lot more homework than I do on this, so I will bow to you for that one.
No, I think you shouldn't be shocked, and I mean I think you should appreciate it if they do, because to me that's an indication that they stayed true to their board, right? Because for every reason you just mentioned, it gives you could even say, oh, it's a tie. Let's go with the pass rusher. If the wide receiver is just a little bit ahead of the corner, let's take the corner because of our history of wide receiver. No, you take the best player on your board. And again, the Eagles have given you the answers to the test. They tried to get Calvin Ridley. As we reported, they were in on Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson. They just did not get him. They had some interest in Christian Kirk, but nobody other than the Jaguars were going to blow him away with $20 million a year. They've brought guys in like Treylon Burks. They led his workout. Aaron Moore had led his workout. So they've put a lot of work and time in to wide receiver. And I don't think they're doing that just to, pretend to the rest of the league that they're interested in wide receivers. I think they are. And there's a chance a guy you asked me to mention some guys. Like if Drake London is there at 15, I would keep my eyes on a receiver who is a big-bodied, natural X receiver. They've got a lot of these twitchy guys like Devontae Smith and Quez Watkins. They've got speed guys. And with the way Jalen Hurts tends to play the position, bigger the better, a little bit more catch radius. And a guy like Drake London would be that kind of guy because he's 6'3" and he has an amazing catch radius. Garrett Wilson is more the twitchy guy, but if he fell to 15, you just basically say that's one of the best players in the draft. I'm just going to take him because he's that good.
Okay. All right, I'm for it. If they're there, let's party. Sure.
Can you write down the Mark Farzetta wish list so I can pass that on to certain people? And
yes, of course.
See if we can do that to you for 2 years in a row.
Literally, Jordan Davis, Devin Lloyd. I like
Devin Lloyd.
I know. It's a linebacker. It's never going to happen in a million years, but it's my wish list. Damn it.
Yeah, 1 out of 2 ain't bad, brother.
182 ain't bad. I do like Stingley though, the LSU corner. I like him.
So here's the fascinating thing. My vibe is that Howie's not going to try to swing for the fences and package like two.
No.
But let's say Derek Stingley is a guy who's available in that 9, 10, 11 range. And from 15 to 9, 10, 11 is not giving up both first-round picks. It's not even giving up a second, probably a third, which they have 2 of, gets you. That to me is more realistic in what the Eagles would possibly do, right? If they want to, if that right type of guy fell there.
Party. All right. I'm with you on there. I'm with you on that one. Just real quick, any update on Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu? Any idea if he could still come to Philadelphia? Are they still kicking tires? Debo Samuel still too expensive? Any of those names that are still hot that are still out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fascinating that Honey Badger has allowed himself, not to accept a deal with the draft here. And there are some pretty good safeties in this draft. There's about 5 or 6 safeties that I really like, which means, of course, the Eagles won't take any of them because, when's the last time the Eagles actually drafted a safety?
Did one of them
the first, second, or third round?
Did one of them go to Penn State?
Listen. If you're accusing me of bias,
Not at
you are
all.
way correct. But no, I mean, it's as the way I understand it. And he even had an interview with, I don't know if you saw the interview he did with the Kansas City writer recently when they were in New Orleans together. And he basically said, I would have taken the deal that they gave, that they wound up giving to Justin Reed. That deal was 3 years, $39 million. And Tyrann Mathieu said in the article, I would have settled for it. So that tells you where his mindset is right now. $13 million a year for 3 years is, quote, settling right now. But no one's given them that, obviously, or he'd be taking that. So I said if he's willing to take a 1-year deal, I think the Eagles get back into the conversation.
Okay.
Right. But 2 years or more money, that's my sense is that the Eagles are not there multiple years.
Gotcha. Geoff Mosher, Inside the Birds podcast. What can we look forward to when it comes to draft coverage with Inside the Birds?
Well, we got it. We already have our Inside the Birds annual mock draft up. It's on our podcast platform. It's also on our website, insidethebirds.com. And Adam and I will have a lot of coverage from our both podcast and YouTube channel, Inside the Birds YouTube, on the 3 days of the draft. We'll have comprehensive pre and post draft coverage.
Awesome. And you're doing this interview with me. We're taping this after your eldest daughter just won a softball game. Is that correct?
That is correct. She won it herself. It's amazing. But
she told everyone else to sit down. All right, because she did play well.
She did play well. As somehow she's got some athletic talents. I tried my best through genetics not to pass them on, but apparently she's a pretty good athlete. So good for her.
Oh, that's great. Geoff Mosher, Inside the Birds podcast. So great catch up with him, my friend. Good luck to you and Adam Kaplan all throughout the rest of the draft week and draft weekend and all that fun stuff. Moshe, always a pleasure, my friend.
Appreciate it, brother. Have a great one.
You as well. Geoff Mosher joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Geoff Mosher, he has the meats. I glanced down at the chat before the chat check. And I see that somebody's highlighting the fact that Geoff Mosher just laughed in my face when I suggested taking a linebacker the first round. And I was like, that's appropriate, actually. That's totally appropriate. But this is fish and wishes, folks. This is fish and wishes while staying somewhat in reality. The linebacker? Are you insane? Anyway, thanks, Geoff Mosher, for joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Always good catching up with Geoff. Make sure you guys are following all things NFL Draft with Inside the Birds. Adam Kaplan's going to join us next week to give us the reaction to the draft. And Adam Kaplan is out in Vegas having himself a good time. He's working hard. Folks. He's working hard at the slots. Anyway, now, thanks to Mosher for jumping on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the chat check, ladies and gentlemen. See how you find people are doing this morning. You guys have seen, I will say you guys are surly in the chat check today. Let's see what's going on. Mark Zines. Mark Zines. What's up, Mark? Mark just says Fars. There's like 5 Z's there. Eric, what's going on? Good morning, Clay. How you doing? Sean, what's popping? April. Bubba Boucher, what's up? What's up with you? Clay, hello again. Dizzy? Why are we dizzy? Jim Grassmeter, good morning to you, my friend. Clay's just saying, what up, Mark? I think he's saying it to the other Mark because he spelled it with a K, and the other Mark spells it with a K. Clay, hello. Mullet, what's going on? Oh, Mike Fuji. Hola, familia. Hola, ¿cómo estás? I won't say usted because we friends. Happy Wednesday. Fighting Phils. 2 in a row, baby. Jim, break up the Phillies. Alyssa, what's going on? Jim, Clay, Raptors are 30-10 against the Sixers in their last 40 meetings. Ugh. Good morning to you too, Clay. Alyssa says, good morning, Baba Boucher. Yes, that is correct. That is an accurate stat. Imagine the riots if the Sixers lose and Howie screwing up the first round of the draft again. I'm not going to live in the dark recesses of my mind that tell me the possibility of Thursday night being a dreadful night in Philadelphia sports. Like, imagine something just bonkers where Howie trades one of the first-round picks to move back in the draft. And let's say he only stays at 15 or 18, takes one, and moves back in the draft. Now, I know that some people always entertain that idea. Here's why trading back in the draft would be stupid. Eagles have 11 picks. You don't need more picks. You good. You don't need more. You got to deal away a little bit. So that's why that in this year's draft in particular would be stupid, especially with, as I pointed out earlier, so many other teams having 2 first-round picks. So with the other teams having 2 first-round picks, you want to be less competitive in the first round? I do not think so. So that'd be dumb. That'd be dumb, is what that would be. What would that be? Dumb. So yes, Thursday, with the Sixers playing, potentially losing, and the Eagles drafting and potentially botching it. Yes, Thursday night could be a terrible night. So Clay, thank you for that. April, did anyone see Stephen A. Smith think Harden is throwing the series to get Doc fired? Bold move, Cotton. April, I did see that yesterday. There was an interesting go-around. I happened to watch maybe a couple of minutes of First Take yesterday, and I just happened to watch. Like, here's how my First Take evaluation goes. Flip it around. Oh, yeah, First Take. Let's see what they got. And if it's like something Philadelphia related, I click and stick. If it's not, I'm like, nah, I'm good. So I just happened to come in on the question, is James Harden a liability? And they throw that question out there, and Kendrick Perkins like, yep, he's now a liability. When he can't contribute defensively and his shot's not falling and he's not being aggressive and he is on the back end of his career, yes, James Harden has become a liability. Stephen A. Smith then chimed in with James Harden taking the series to get Doc fired and to get Mike D'Antoni hired as the 76ers' next head coach. I'm good. I think I'm good. I don't need. I think I'm good on Mike D'Antoni, but thanks. I don't need a recreation of the Houston Rockets that didn't win anything with James Harden and Mike D'Antoni here in Philadelphia. Now throw in Joel Embiid, and that might sound sexy. However, James Harden at 33 trying to run Mike D'Antoni's offense, not so much. Tyrese Maxey's the only one that really intrigues me in all of that with a more up-tempo type of offense. And if Mike D'Antoni can turn Tyrese Maxey into what James Harden was in Houston, then maybe. But it doesn't jump out to me. It doesn't have the sex appeal. No, thank you. But yes, I did see Stephen A. Smith say that yesterday. And I'm like, I don't think he wants to be terrible on purpose. He's got a lot of money coming his way. I think JJ Redick made that point that James Harden has a lot of money on the line here with how he performs in this series. And the fact that he's never won, yeah, I don't think he's tanking a series just to get Doc fired to go another year. Clay, if Doc blows this series, I think he is getting canned. Oh, if Doc didn't get to the Eastern Conference Finals, he's getting canned. So yeah, if he's getting blown out in the first round of the playoffs, yeah, man, see you later. Eagles need a defensive back bad, says Jim. You're absolutely right. Doc, Alyssa, our Sixers insider, says that, yes, he's going to get canned. I agree. Wonder who would be next if Doc is shown the door. Clay's asking that question. Well, according to Stephen A., Mike D'Antoni. If Duck loses another 3-1 lead, no other NBA or even college team should want him. If Duck Rivers loses another series, forget about 3-1. They're up 3-0. If he loses this, no one's looking his way. It's golf courses, baby. It's tee times for the rest of his life. And maybe a front office job down the line. Oh, God. Imagine being the 1 and 143 and 1. Yeah. That would be Doc Rivers for all the teams that have been up 3-0. Interesting. Most of y'all saying cornerback for the Birds. Yeah, they do need a corner. No big secret. If you they need a corner, you're absolutely right. Kevin, Eagles need a cornerback? I think everyone is forgetting we pick up some cornerbacks at the Wawa on Columbus Boulevard before the game Sunday. Oh, yeah. Was that the chicken finger? You want the chicken fingers and the Wawa hoagie? Is that what you want? Okay. Wait, where'd you go? Oh, I got to go play cornerback for the Eagles for a second. I'll be right back. Arby's makes me think of meat sweats. April, meat sweats are a real thing. I know from experience. Because I'm a Costco family now, we got they got these like Tuscan pork things, these Tuscan pork johns that you can grill or put in the oven for a minute, for a bit longer than a minute. And they're delicious. And like I can't help but crush like 5 of them. And I just like walking around. Oh God, it's a fat bastard sweating from the meat sweats. So yeah, that's my life. Anyway. Paul, what's going on, Paul? JD Harrison. I don't think I've ever been to an Arby's. I know I've been to an Arby's like once or twice. I know of one time. And it was one of those situations where we were on a long car ride and we weren't passing any fast food Johns and nothing like that. And then finally we saw an Arby's and my parents were like, I guess we're stopping at Arby's. And my brother and I were like, I don't know, like kids at the time. And we stopped at Arby's and I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't think I need Arby's. Yes, Arby's still exist. April, stop signs optional in the city. Laugh out loud. That is it is a great point that CJ Perez made, but that is a real story. My law professor I shouldn't say law enforcement professor was from London that I had at Temple. And he was an awesome professor, one of my favorite professors I ever had. And one of the things he would say is, you're trying to abide by the law in Philadelphia, but you have to remember a stop sign here is in his British voice, a stop sign here is merely a suggestion. Love this guy. He was great. I had no interest in going into law enforcement, but I was like, why not take this class? And this guy was awesome. What the hell did they run out of? What? Wait, hold on. Arby's fries are awesome. Wait, Arby's ran out of meat? I went to Arby's once. They had no roast beef prepared. I walked out saying, Arby's, we don't have the meats. Clay, that was a horrible experience. Curly fries. Okay, I do remember the curly fries. Very underrated is Roy Rogers. And that is a road trip only fast food place. I don't see Roy Rogers around anywhere, and I don't think they exist anymore anywhere except for truck stops and rest stops on the highway. There used to be one in Doylestown that was in the Barnes Cinema shopping center. There was a Friendly's that I think now is an Urgent Care. And there was a Roy Rogers. And the thing about Roy Rogers that I always loved is the fries came in a holster. Oh, man. That was some good times. Jordan Davis can only play a few snaps at a time, and I'm worried about him with his weight. It is a concern, but I think the upside is there. Jerry Robinson. Jerry Robinson, 97.9, last linebacker taken. Yes, that's true, Clay. Clay was 10 at the time. Clay, what's up, brother? Mullet, where's the beef? Trying to find out Ben's real problem with the Sixers. Are we just going fast food slogans in the chat? Draft day means the end of stupid mock drafts are finally done. Was it Michael Crabtree that fell? Like, he was in the mock drafts at I think it was top 10 or whatever it was. I forget where he actually ended up going, but he might have went in the 20s. And because he fell so far in the draft, he lost out on a lot of money. And his agent, as part of his argument, was saying, no, look where all these mock drafts had him going. And he didn't go till here. You guys they did it wrong. And they looked at him like, get the hell out of here with your mock drafts. Most literally laughed in your face when you mentioned a linebacker that Paul. He absolutely did. April, is that Spanish? Are you saying a CSC? A CSC, or the Italian mezzaments. That's pretty funny. Jim Graspy, to repeat after me, Howie. SEC. SEC. You guys are fantastic. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have some more draft analysis for you guys. We're going to jump a little bit deeper into the draft, see what the Eagles can do, not just in the first round, but the second round as well. I think they go safety in the second round, and I wasn't kidding when I was talking to Mosher about possibly having a kid out of Penn State in the second round if he's there. I know a lot of people like Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State. He'll probably go in the second round. There might be an early run on safeties in the first round, but I think it would behoove the Eagles to wait to that second round. And when you think about it, the Eagles have gone safety a couple of times in the draft. One time it kind of worked out. The other time, not so much. Jaquay Jarrett, formerly of the Temple Owls, was, I believe, a second-round pick. Nate Allen, another second-round pick, was a safety as well. They've gone safety mostly with the free agency. You think about our trades, Rodney McLeod, Malcolm Jenkins. That's what they've done as of late when it's come to the safety position. So it wouldn't surprise me if they ended up going to the Honey Badger by bringing in established talent. Harris, another one. So it wouldn't surprise me if they just went free agency when it comes to talent for the safety position. They got some young guys that they're high on as well, some young guys that they like. But that second round has been, I think, more of a safety breeding ground than anything for the Eagles. So we'll see how that all shakes out on Thursday. Well, at least for the first round of the draft. We'll see that on Thursday. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My thanks to my guest, CJ Perez of Temple Owls, as well as Geoff Mosher of Inside the Birds. A lot of fun as per you. Oh, chat, do the chat check. Morning Rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Phillies will look to make it 3 in a row today. What? That's right, 3 in a row today against the Colorado Rockies. 6:45 start time. I do love those 6:45 start times. I can't say it enough. Ryan Feltner will take on Ranger Suarez. That will be on the bump today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a phenomenal job as per usual. This is the Farzy Show, presented by Destination Retirement, DestinationRetirement.com. Email my man Mike Seibert at GoBirds at 1847financial.com for all your retirement needs. And also, this is coming to you live from the Steven Singer studio, as it does every weekday from 6 a.m. to 7-ish. Ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a great rest of your day. I'm Mark Farzetta from the Farzy Show. Take it easy, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. See ya.